So what is important for you as say a product manager or a designer is that in India, nobody's actually figured out the OTT video streaming business, right? They've, in fact, even music streaming is not that very well figured out. Nobody's figured out how to make digital payments stick, digital payments for content which is digital stick. And that is true also for not just video, also music, also now news, because a lot of the news guys had a terrible time during the COVID situation whereby physical papers were not getting delivered. So they went digital only, etc., etc. Very few people actually went and were not even willing to pay say 99 rupees per month or 199 per month to these businesses. That's why for you, and when you're there are a lot of jobs that will come in this segment very, very soon, because content is going to be king. Content is already king, but it will be even more so. So you need to be very, very confident in terms of how to approach it, not just from the perspective of just minor changes here and there in the design, but think of the business objectives, right? Why this is happening. So what I mean to say is that if you look at Netflix, it does so many experiments, right? Where's the point on experiment? Where is the experimentation? So if you look at Hotstar, Disney+Hotstar, do you see any experimentation that they do? Do you see any change that they do in how the catalog is shown, how the content is shown, how they talk to their users? I haven't seen anything. And in fact, I haven't seen anything since it was free and now it is paid. Nothing much has changed. And that, although it is a marketing kind of thing, product marketing piece, that does play into your design and your product pieces as well. And you need to be aware of that. So if you're approaching these companies or related companies in this space, you need to be very, very aware of that. That experimentation is going to be very, very important. So your idea, so although I said that ideas are not the main part of this challenge, I think the ideation part is very, very crucial for you guys to take away from this challenge. That there is a scope whereby you can think out of the box and come up with new ideas. Whereas this challenge was about here and now, it is more about what is possible in India, especially in India, because people are not used to paying for digital content only. There is a segment which you and I kind of know of, which pays for Netflix every month, but there's a huge set of people who do not pay for it and don't want to pay for it. So there has to be something more that has to be done. Otherwise, it doesn't work out to do business in India in those spaces. So there has to be something new that has to happen, right? So obviously, if you're going to work in these companies, you're going to be asked about these things, even though it may not be pure product or pure design. That is the one major takeaway. But when you're evaluating, say, Disney+Hotstar, I think it's unfair to evaluate it just basis, say, Netflix and Amazon Prime. I think it is more important, since given its spot, to evaluate it compared to, say, international players. So one international player that you should look at is Sky Sports, right? How they are doing this whole piece of, content, which is their original content, plus sports. And they do a fabulous job. I was able to see it because of some streaming links that I got available, and the content that they had available for the exact same event. And this is an F1 Grand Prix. The exact same event is far, far superior. And I know you might say that this is about content again, you're talking about. No, but the way they catalog that content, the way they make it available, the way they put it up on YouTube. In fact, if you check out, I'll show it right now. If you check out this piece, so here is the part. So this is what I'm going to show you. And we'll do a slide experiment, right? So I'm going to check out Formula One, right? Now, if I search Formula One here, I'm already subscribed to for the Formula One channel. I get a lot more content here than I would get on, say, Disney+Hotstar. So let's go to, so this is the content. This is the recent Grand Prix. I get a lot of content. It is summarized. So if I want to spend, say, 15 minutes, I can spend 15 minutes, get what I want. There are lots of highlights. Remember, it's the same content, right? The digital rights are, in fact, they have lesser rights here, but it's the same content. Now I compare this with, say, Hotstar and the free part of it. And let's go and see what comes up when I search Formula One, right? Look what it is showing me. It is showing me channels, completely irrelevant. Now, suppose I go actually to the space where my Formula One resides. What is the content that they have available? It's just these three videos. These are replay videos. And these are these are hour-long kind of videos. And that kind of shows you, right? The competition is not this Netflix. So I'm talking about the sports category. It's not just Netflix. It's also the likes of YouTube. Also the likes of Sky Sports on YouTube. These are the elements that you need to take care of and understand. It's not just about Netflix and Amazon Prime. They are playing different games. Amazon Prime has its own game, as I said. Netflix has its own game, and they're good at what they're doing. But these are the competitors against which Hotstar. So for me, as a sports fan, I would say the number one competitor for Hotstar is not these guys, but it is specifically YouTube, because the level of content, it's surfaces, and this is obviously driven by the business. So Formula One International puts this content, but YouTube gives it the flexibility to do that. Now remember, sports is very different from the other categories, so it has to be treated differently. Sky Sports does a fantastic job of doing it, but does Hotstar have its own content? I don't think it does. In fact, searching, that's the first problem with Disney plus Hotstar. Searching it also is a pain. IPL content, they don't put out too much content. In fact, they right now क्या दिखा रहे हैं? लक्ष्मी का दिखा रहे हैं videos. Sports के बारे में कुछ भी नहीं दिखा रहे, जबकि sports उनका major. Look at that. So here's where the problem is, and there are multiple such problems. So it's not just about the competition being Netflix and Hotstar, Netflix and Amazon Prime. There are other more important competitors, because the exclusive content that these guys have is, although they're creating a catalog, is sports. It starts with sports. If you take out sports from Disney plus Hotstar, it is a very poor offering in general for users. Okay? So that's one important part. The other part is that our earlier challenge, so this is the 2014, the same point, our earlier challenge was focused on competitor analysis, and there actually it was based on these ones. So this is the challenge, competition analysis. So those who were aware or were with us then would remember competition analysis and differentiation. And the number one, the main suggestions that came out from those challenges were, so I'm just going to show you this solution for free. It's a paid offering, but yeah, look at this. This is a 1-year-old challenge, right? One account with multiple profiles and personalized catalog. This is 1 year back, and even now nothing has happened on that. So that's very, very strange, right? I mean, something that's so easy to do. Other suggestions also very, very similar. What you're suggesting right now is the same suggestion that are happening. So somewhere something is not right, right? So that was the other point. The third is, if you see Netflix transition from 1 year back, so when Netflix came, it has done a lot in terms of packaging, right? It introduced 199 pack, which is the most popular. That's what they say. Not actual numbers are not given, but it is one of the most popular packs in India, right? So they did pricing related changes. They did product related changes. So if you see the home screen on Netflix, that has changed dramatically. They have stories kind of a feature. They have trailers. They have coming soon. It keeps you hooked and keeps you in the conversation. Their social play is amazing. Whereas Hotstar from a year back actually has gone 2 steps backward. That is the other point that I wanted to share. And again, look, at this point I've already talked about innovations around plans. So this is very interesting. So I come from a prepaid background or an Airtel background. So this whole space right now relates a lot to me, because what I see right now, and this comes back to that subscription and unbundling, bundling kind of part, is that when this kind of happens, whereby people are not able to differentiate, a lot of packs come along, and that relates very, very closely, as I mentioned earlier, to the mobile prepaid regime. So what you had was, हर चीज के एक पैक बनते गया, right? हर छोटे छोटे चीज के लिए एक छोटा पैक बनते गया, क्रिकेट पैक बनते गया, ये बनते गया, वो बनते गया. And then Jio came, everything was free, everything was one pack, everything was in that pack. And again, that transition now is happening whereby breaking. Something similar I feel is going to happen in the OTT video streaming space. It'll be interesting to see if it does or does not happen, but Hotstar is well positioned to do that. You've seen some suggestions already on how that can happen.